Hi, welcome to Australian Gamers Friday Night Podcast. I'm Yug.
No, Matt.
And I'm Mr Shoosh.
There we go. Tonight we're talking about Peter Moore and how he leaves Microsoft.
PlayStation sells 1 million in Japan. That's PlayStation 3, by the way.
And a boy kills his brother. So we should probably just introduce our special guest. We haven't had a special guest for a while.
We've been special guestless.
Yes.
And this is a pretty special guest.
He's very special.
I'm feeling very special, a bit like they call those retarded kids special, but
Yeah, that's actually a topic we didn't put on there. We're going to mention the withdrawal of Mario Party on the Wii in Europe.
But just before we get to that, Mr. Shush, would you like to introduce yourself and maybe explain to the people that have never heard of you before and go, who the hell is Mr. Shush?
If there is any such person.
Is that his real name?
Mr Shoosh is my real name, actually. No, it comes from a movie, but I won't talk about that. My job in life is to visit gamers around Australia and drink alcohol.
Excellent.
Yes. We actually didn't really have him here to contribute anything. We just figured we were going to be drinking a lot and talking crap, so we might as well tape it.
Actually, Mr. Shush is a regular contributor to Xbox Zone and also one of the other GamerSpeak people on xbox.com.au.
It's an absolute privilege to be here and actually see your setup and see how you guys work.
It is a high-end setup.
Are you impressed by this, sophisticated setup that we've got here?
No.
No?
No.
Good. The use of SingStar mics, I think, is a personal high.
I'm still getting used to that.
Fair enough. Hey, go back to the retard.
Shush, what were you saying?
Special Kids labels retard, but yes, Mario Party, banned in Europe.
Yeah, they pulled it from the shelves because it is the word retard. I can't remember which one it was. It was either retard or spastic, and it's particularly noticeable because Mind Games for the DS was pulled for the same reason about 3 days before.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, this is
because if you failed on the questions, it called you a retard.
Really?
Yeah, which is hilarious.
I'd imagine this isn't like. This isn't the original Japanese. It would be in the translation from.
It would seem
the Japanese game,
no,
right?
It's actually probably not because a lot of Japanese games use English terms quite happily and use English phrases, but often aren't aware of the cultural weighting that's put on those terms.
All right, and so someone complained.
Yeah, some woman whose kids have cerebral palsy had the thing tell her she was a retard. So some woman whose
kids are retards, she complained.
Yeah, I think maybe we should not pick on the mentally handicapped during the podcast.
Oh, why not?
I think brain training did it well. They just give you a brain age of 43 or something if you're a retard.
Yeah. They don't actually call you names.
Is retard an actual word? I know spastic is an actual word to describe mentally.
Well, the term retarded means slow? Not correctly formed. Like
so
not
isn't
well
that appropriate if you're IQ is below a certain level, or?
Well, yes and no. There are. It doesn't even matter whether it's correct. It matters whether it's acceptable.
Politically correct.
It might be correct, but it's not politically correct, and it's certainly not something that a game intended to be suitable for G-rated audiences should be yelling at children, especially if they do happen to be retarded.
Fair enough. Anyway,
if we're
Anyway, okay, well, look, we weren't even planning on talking about that topic. Let's actually get on to the topics that we did say we would talk about before we completely forget about them.
Probably the biggest news is probably Peter Moore, I would think.
The big switch.
The big switch.
The big switch?
The big switch. Peter Moore switching with.
Yep. Sorry, I thought that was some nickname of his.
No.
Yeah, Peter Moore, the big switch.
I was looking and staring. Young was just staring blankly at you.
I was just trying to put two and two together.
The switch EA Sports.
No, I get it.
He gets it now.
I understand.
He gets there eventually. He's just slow to catch up.
Yeah. Well, explain it to the rest of us.
Normally, I try to say anything complicated at the start so that Young's caught up by the end.
This is the problem with having a guest on the show, is that they always side with either you or me.
No. That's actually not true. They always side with me. And the reason is because...
You know what? Listen to some of those previous podcasts, man. You get picked on way more than I do.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
And the reason they're going up with
You're in denial.
Is because you are and if you have children with cerebral palsy, please pause now.
That's bad.
Actually, pausing wouldn't help because then you just have a 10-second break before I
It's more of a... It's like when they say Reddit, this song is not safe for...
Please turn down your radio.
Please change.
How do you know when to start again? Do you just have to leave it down?
Skip 10 seconds.
Or do they say, you may now turn your radio back up?
This song has bad language, so come back in 3 minutes. So they're actually advocating going to a different network.
Yeah, or just turning it down.
Sorry, we've really gone off tangent. What
Off
were we on?
tangent.
Peter Moore,
that
the
off?
Switch.
The Switch. All right, and this is the whole musical chairs thing. He's gone to EA, and some of the guy that was at EA is now taking his place at Microsoft, right?
Once again, full of just not information there.
Oh,
the guy
bugger off.
who's
Yes,
taking
yes.
his place used to be, previously, quite some time ago, the president of EA Worldwide, which is a different division to EA Sports.
So,
And he came over to Microsoft, and Moore, who used to be the head of Sega, has now jumped into...
okay, first of all, no... Okay. Did Moore used to be the head of Sega?
Yeah, did you not know that?
I vaguely remember.
He was
I
quite-
didn't
he
know
was-
that, Yug. I'm siding with you at the
Oh,
moment.
good.
He was
Thank
quite
you, Stu.
influential. He was actually quite influential.
I'm
in
sorry,
a lot
so
of,
just to go back,
Sega's
what I was
policy.
actually saying is that, so Peter Moore has gone to E3, and a guy that was at E3 is now taking his place at Microsoft. E3, EA.
God, you're confusing me now. I did know what was happening, but now you've taken him to E3 for some
I was
reason.
correct with what I said before, is basically what I was trying
No,
to do.
not really, because you implied that they just swapped.
Yeah, they did, sort of.
No.
They did.
No.
Just over a long period of time,
No.
you could call that... You're the one that called it musical chairs on the site, alright?
Yes, but because that was funny, but you're just wrong. There's a difference between wrong and funny.
It's great to be here, boys, but whatever happened to Jay Allard in all of this? Did he go to
I
the
don't-
Zune or something? I think
I-
he was in charge of the Zune.
I don't know. I
Probably
think
why we
something
don't
like
hear
that.
much from him anymore.
Yeah, that would explain it.
I don't know.
Maybe got a haircut.
Isn't he bald?
All right. Okay.
Peter Moore got a haircut, though. He's bald.
No, he can't. He's got to get some tattoo on his head.
Yeah,
soon,
the
so-
question is, will Moore have to get anything tattooed while he's at EA?
It's EA. Not only will he get tattooed, but he'll actually get some thing embedded in him which plays EA tracks all the time whenever he walks around.
Yeah.
He'll be a walking, talking EA endorsement.
And there'll be a new version of Peter Moore every year that's exactly the same as the last version, but with like different facial hair or something. Don't you think? I can see it happening.
Yeah, fair enough. All
Because
right.
it is EA Sports as well, which is the worst for that.
So, okay, whenever they have an E3, they get like the representatives of the companies up on stage, and Peter Moore is the one for Microsoft. I think Phil I can't remember. Harrison is the one for Sony. So like the main man that gets up, and when you associate PR with one of those companies,
Yeah.
Phil and of course
the corporate,
Reggie,
the corporate shill.
Yeah, exactly, and of course Reggie for Nintendo, right?
Yep.
So
You'll have to learn to draw someone new.
So this new guy for Microsoft, I mean, I was always a little bit embarrassed whenever I saw Peter Moore up on stage, to be honest.
Particularly with the guitar.
Yeah, not
that
cool.
was horrible.
Yeah.
That was wrong. That was
Yeah.
un-Islamic. Can I say that?
That was what?
Un-Islamic?
What does that mean?
That just means it's un-Islamic. It's wrong.
Un-Islamic.
Is that a different language?
No,
It's
as in
religion
not Islamic.
It's just not right. Not kosher.
No.
Oh, not kosher. Okay, there we go. I understand that
Maybe
one.
it's the kebab in me.
That's from a movie, so I know that phrase.
But on E3, I read on your I actually with E3 I only watch it after it's taken place and then see what everyone says are the good videos to watch, and I watch them. And I read up on your right up there, Matt, on the Zapper for the Nintendo, and I got all excited. I thought there was this Zapper, there was this funky little thing here that you could actually do something and it would send some kind of signal. Maybe it shocked you when you made something wrong. And then I saw this plastic stiletto. That you plug in.
It's
What a crock.
I heard a few people talking about it afterwards, saying, "Yeah, Nintendo's released the Zapper, and it's such a big." And it's not. It's like a sleeve that you put your existing controller.
Well,
on. It's really not that big.
here's what I don't get. Just if we're going to be talking about E3 stuff, that Zapper, there's already been a third-party peripheral that's done that for ages. That's been out, like a Mad Catz or
the
something
gun
like that.
thing.
Yeah, the gun thing. Like you slip the Wiimote into it and you hold it and use it.
But you don't have the yeah. No, they had that last year's E3, and that's what I said on the thing as well. Like they've made
no, not last year's E3, as in literally in stores. Like in
Can you shut up?
No, we've done that before.
No, the
Very boring podcast.
There was basically something like that they did have at last year's E3. Bear with me, and it was basically just you put your thing in it and it helped you press the underneath button as a trigger, and it was basically just a thing. And that's what the Nintendo, I don't think, ever released that, but Mad Catz did release the same thing. This is slightly different though in that you put the nunchuck in it as well, so you actually have them both combined together. I'm not saying it's so different that it's amazing. That was kind of my point, that it's basically just a minor improvement.
So
on
what it
the
actually
whole
does is it takes away utterly takes away the functionality of the Wiimote and the nunchuck in terms of the motion control.
No, it doesn't. It sticks them together. It makes them as a gun that you move the gun. And the other thing is that because you've got the nunchuck, I actually think it would probably be easier with the nunchuck separately because you weren't kind of cramped up together, but you use the nunchuck to move around and you use the gun to shoot.
I've been playing Resident Evil 4 on the Wii lately, and you don't actually use the motion sensor on the nunchuck. You only use it on the Wiimote, but or whatever you call it. But it does take that away. But I guess it depends on the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
But one thing, like you said about the third-party controller, they didn't really push it very hard, but they did talk about having a steering wheel for the for one of the driving games. I can't remember which one. Mario Kart, I think.
Yeah.
Which there's been one of them around for ages.
Yeah, so I mean, this one's official. Bringing out official.
And it's a zapper.
Well, we're talking about the wheel. We've moved on.
Oh, come on, jeez, catch up.
God.
But no, the wheel is coming bundled with Mario Kart.
Oh, is it?
I might be making that up. I heard that.
When is this being released?
Oh, no.
Tune into Australian Gamer for manufactured news.
No, it is. I'm sure of it. I heard this from somewhere. I know I did.
I think you're confusing the fact that the Wii Zapper will be bundled with the actual console for a while.
I really don't think I am. I'm pretty sure in that speech. I don't know. Unfortunately, I've forgotten where I heard that, and I can't back that up.
Alright, no, but you may be right. You may be crazy. It just... Never mind.
Good.
But yeah, you may be right about that. It's not really that big a deal anyway. It's a fairly unnecessary peripheral, I would have thought. I can't see it really making that much difference.
And then there's the Wii Fit. What do you think about the Wii Fit?
Yeah. I want a game that you can stand on and you think that you're balancing and it just tells everyone your weight in a loud voice. I think that would be the ideal party game. Get some girl and you got to balance here, and it comes up and says 110 kilos, you fatty. That'd be great. How good a game would that be for everyone else?
Yeah, that'd be great. That kind of defeats the purpose of having these easy peripherals, though. Yeah, anyone can play. Get the girls to play the game.
No. But that's the cool thing. So what you do is you get a whole bunch of drunk girls.
But how do you beat her?
And you get rid of all the fat
with
chicks.
Your fist. Sorry.
How do you win? How do you win against the fat? How do you stand a chance against the fat chicks?
How did we get on a conversation about how to win games against fat chicks?
You win.
On a Wii Fit.
You win when the fat chick cries and leaves.
So that's
everyone wins when the fat chick leaves.
So are we talking about the Wii Fit or Wii Fat?
A bit of both.
Australian Gamer, we're not prejudiced.
No.
We just don't like fatties. No.
Or retards, apparently. So if you happen to be
personally, I think the Wii Fit is a complete another gimmick, and it looks like it doesn't work very well. I'm sorry. I just think it looks
There's a video parody. I'll put a link on your site.
I think I've seen a link, actually. I think someone in the forum linked to it. I just couldn't watch it at work.
They overdubbed the video with some guy basically saying, it's useless.
Well, that's hilarious.
I don't do it justice.
It's like Oscar Wilde wit there. That's amazing. So they'll overdub the original movie with someone saying it's useless.
I'm assuming this is something you have to see, right?
Yeah, you have to see. And look, I haven't seen it, so.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks for that, Shush.
Thanks for coming, Shush.
This is my last podcast.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement saying it seems like the sort of thing that has relatively little scope. Like, how many games can use this peripheral? I can't see a lot. But then again, I thought the same of the little Wii remotes, and apparently I'm wrong.
No way. No, the scope on the Wii remotes was just huge. It was the case of, there's so much potential, so much potential for what you can actually do here. But that flat thing on the ground, unless it's combined with the Wii remote, then maybe
which apparently is possible.
Stuff. Just looks really fickle, that's all. And I don't know.
The push-ups look good.
What?
No, Did you see him doing the push-ups?
Yeah, what was with that? I thought
that freaked
push-ups. What do you need a thing to do push-ups? Don't you just push up?
It's like, here, use this Wii board to do. Why can't I just use the ground? Is there?
Yeah.
Is that they're going to be different weight? I mean, it detects.
You don't get a
doesn't it,
graph.
or-
You don't get a graph.
You don't get a graph.
No.
What do you need a graph for?
To see how good your push-ups are. To see how off balance you are when
So
doing
it's
your
just
push-ups.
balance. It's just purely balance. That's the only thing it can really detect is balance, isn't it?
Look, frankly, it's balance, shifting weight and stuff like that. So if you're doing yoga, it might detect if you're in the right position, and if you're doing sit-up, push-ups and whatever. And frankly, the only other thing, which is the only thing which looks mildly interesting, which is the step-on, step-off stuff, which is just a DDR mat, but with only
not very
two
good. Yeah.
steps.
Yeah.
What they need is a Kama Sutra game for the Wii Fit. Think about it.
I don't need a game to tell me.
And I
how
don't
to do
need
the
to think
Kama
about it.
Sutra.
Okay.
Shut down. But interesting, yes. Okay, fair enough.
It only gives some potential to the Wiimote as well.
Yes.
I'm just shutting up
How
now.
do we go into E3? Is there anything else we want to talk about E3? Maybe like the other, those other two small companies, Microsoft and Sony. Is there anything? Shush. I mean,
talked
like
a little bit about
me and
Microsoft.
Matt talked about it all last week. I would like to hear your attitude, especially from a Xbox 360 point of view.
look,
Yeah, what did you think? What did you think of Microsoft's performance at E3?
I thought it was very disappointing. I thought this
Really?
year, seriously, last year you had Gears of War, you had Bioshock, which was only a bit of a hint there.
Yeah.
Which still isn't out.
Which isn't exactly
Yeah.
right. And but this year I thought, obviously they played the Halo 3 card. There was talk of the warranty extension to the red lights.
It's not really E3 sort of.
Yeah,
stuff,
well, for a start,
though.
that happened a bit before E3, and the other thing was that was more damage control than a good product.
Yeah.
Like that was.
There was nothing big. There was nothing really that blew me away.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're kind of talking about. Yeah, this is amazing. This is great. Well, good, do it.
Yeah.
Bioshock. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Give.
And to me, PlayStation were the same. Nintendo weren't much better. I thought.
I see. PlayStation get a free pass for me until they release Little Big Planet, which gets me erect.
And to be honest, my personal opinion is I actually really enjoyed Microsoft's presentation because I enjoyed a lot of the games, like watching a lot of the games being played and showcased. I'm like, actually, that looks really quite interesting. They look cool. Watching the Halo 3 single-player campaign...
Yeah, that looked interesting, yeah.
That interests me because I've never really been a big Halo online multiplayer.
I do get sucked into the whole Halo world and
Yep.
You mean single-player or multiplayer?
Both. The single player was disappointing in two. The gameplay was good. The storyline was just crud. The ending was ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Starks and all those Halo nerds out there, but
Yeah, but most of them, a lot of them will agree.
Yeah.
They just play it for the multiplayer.
But Halo 3, it looked great. There's the rumour, I don't know if it was E3 or afterwards, but there was that rumour of 4-player co-op that came out.
Really? I had not heard that.
So 4-player online.
There's someone, I've read somewhere, some article, and I'll link it, that there's someone leaked a potential 4-player co-op for Halo 3.
I'm continually disappointed that co-op is not a feature that's focused on a lot more.
In a lot of games, yeah. Because it's so much fun. Like some of the most fun I've had in FPS games was not combative, but cooperative.
But I think the problem is because so many single-player games are scripted, so it's very difficult to actually have them as co-op.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that worked well with games like the Serious Sam, because it was they just threw 12,000 enemies at you. Yes. That wasn't much of a script.
But that wasn't really, co-op is more the Splinter Cell towards the end of last Xbox.
Splinter Cell Chaos Theory?
Chaos Theory,
yeah,
that's it.
That was absolutely
great.
And that required not just two people to simultaneously work through the single-player campaign. That required two people to work together. There was no way to progress to the next bit unless you worked with the person you were playing with. So that was pretty cool.
That was great. And obviously Gears of War is the obvious one in this generation, but there's nothing since. And hopefully Halo 3 does 4-player co-op.
So just moving on to Sony then. I mean, Matt's, I don't know if he counts because he's got wood until Little Big Planet comes out. What do you think, Shush?
To be honest, I didn't listen to the Sony presentation.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Is that because you're anti-Sony, or
not that I'm anti-Sony? I'm just I don't think I'll get a PS3. I'll wait for something to come out and be out before I actually am committed to getting a PS3. It's a big investment.
Haze interests me too. The more I see about it. I like the concepts of it.
That's the one where you got the shield, sort of. It's like you don't shield the bars, then you take it off. There's
this suit you wear, and this drug is pumping through the suit that hides any violence from you, so you don't see blood, and people that are dead vanish and stuff. It's deliberately it's to help the government soldiers cope with the violence, is that they don't see it. And part of the way through the game, apparently your suit starts to malfunction and it gets horrifically violent. You start to actually see what you've been doing to these people, with these people scream, and apparently the screams are just awful.
Because that's the other thing. It's one thing for the characters, the people you shot, to disappear, but it's another for them to actually wriggle around in agony and pain and screaming after you've shot them.
Another thing that was really interesting, I thought, is that the people... apparently you get halfway through the game and then you swap. You become one of the people that is...
You would swap sides.
You swap sides, and you start playing as one of the
that's a great
the
concept.
kind of the rebels, and so you've got this. You don't have the hardcore weaponry. You've got kind of more tough.
I get
stuff,
it,
and you've got different vehicles and stuff. But what makes it particularly interesting, I thought, is that when you're playing as the rebels, you can pretend to be dead, and because the suit thinks you're dead,
like dead soldiers at school or dead fish. What was that?
Oh, I see. You play dead, and
you
so
play
to
dead,
the
and
soldiers,
the suit can't see you because it thinks you're dead. So it hides your body from the soldier. So
That's
you can
cool.
wait till they walk away, and then you can. And that apparently happens in multiplayer as well.
Was there one thing I missed on E3 and I didn't see any of it? Was there any talk of, is it Spore or Spawn? What's that?
Yeah, I noticed that too. I found that a really interesting omission. No spore
Spore.
news whatsoever.
No.
Maybe I missed it. I might have to do a bit
Is
of
that
tracking.
this
No,
year,
there was
or do we know when that's
It
coming
looks
out?
like it's been pushed back
It's
to
a 2008 release.
2008.
I don't know anything further about it.
And
It's
apparently
certainly
not early 2008
It's certainly not
either.
in any release schedule here in Australia. I didn't know that
no,
for a fact.
it looked really polished and stuff when it was last shown.
But the scope of that game, I'd imagine there's a lot.
It's
of
almost
stuff
certain that we saw the little tiny bit that actually worked.
Just leading in from the Sony presentation, then one of the other things we're going to talk about tonight is the fact that Sony have hit the 1 million console mark in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan.
In Japan, which is for the PlayStation 3, which is that impressive?
That is impressive. 1 million is a lot.
Do we have stats on the other consoles?
Yes, that was what made it particularly interesting. They've actually sold 2.4 million Wiis.
And they were getting a lot of flack on the whole Wii's dominating, or Nintendo's
Yeah, they're
beating
apparently
Sony in
selling them
Japan.
like 5-1.
Of course,
at
the
moment.
Xbox, they've sold 5 Xbox 360s.
Yeah, well, no,
in Japan.
actually-
Of which 4...
Four-
Rings of death, yeah. No, they actually have sold better than I thought, but not as well as they should have. They've sold 470,000, I think, Xbox 360s, which is
not bad.
not as much.
It's
obviously.
not 1 million, but it's still actually it's not as bad as
It's not as
thought
bad as I
compared
would
to
have
Sony.
expected,
Then
and
again,
it's certainly not as bad as the last generation.
But it has
was.
been out twice as long.
It has been out a lot longer, but also this is in Japan, don't forget, and the PlayStation 3 has been out for quite a long time in Japan. It only had a few months lead time in Japan.
Actually, I didn't think about that.
Maybe they've run
It's
out of
about 3
hobos
months
to...
difference. Yeah.
to get the PlayStation 3s with.
Oh no, well they're doing 1 million. They're doing 1 million. No.
You read the site.
I do read your site.
That's right.
I did research before coming.
Okay.
I only read it last night.
And what you read a year ago
I did
news.
no,
Flick through all
no,
the comics.
I
It doesn't
used
take long.
Alexa.com, the archive facility. Now you can go back on a website a year and see what they've written.
Okay.
Thought,
Right.
now, if I do that, it looks like I actually pay attention to your site.
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Like you're a fan. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Oh, nice. You've just blown your cover, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So they've sold 1 million Sony PlayStation.
That's
3s.
kind of really it. They've sold 1 million, and that's like good. Yeah, no, that's it. There's some interesting stuff about the PSP that I thought I'd just mention though quickly while we're
mention
talking
away
about
because
Sony.
God knows I don't care.
Yeah, no, just
You don't wait. Do you not have a PSP? Because I've seen photos with you and a PSP, Yug.
That's Matt's PSP.
Okay.
yeah, he's borrowed.
I have
everything.
borrowed his
But I haven't
PSP.
seen many photos of you with the DS, and I
Actually-
thought you were a Nintendo man.
There is a
Whoa! Slow down here, all right? I am.
Yeah,
not.
he is not a man.
Oh yes, quick.
Oh, come on, that was fair.
I grew up on Nintendo, but I hardly consider myself a Nintendo fan. I am just as quick to get pissed off at Nintendo just as quickly as I am to be all nostalgic about their games. I do not own a DS or a PSP because I don't travel anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. He goes everywhere with little skateboards, so...
Now that you can hook up your PSP to a TV, would
I'll play a PlayStation 2. I just
Yeah,
that has no relevance to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
Or a
especially
DVD or-
especially with the PSP because of all the games that I have played on it, that I have borrowed Matt's quite a bit, and he does have now a wide selection of games that he's cracked out of the cases and
Yeah, I broke him.
anyway. I've not actually found really anything that's held my attention all that long or that much. Loco Roco I wish I played, but
Loco Roco was really fun. I actually downloaded the demo and played that again the other day.
You had something exciting to say
Yes,
about
sorry,
the PSP,
yeah.
Matt?
No, I just wanted to say that that the PSP Lite thingy, they're actually... There's been reports that in Japan they're actually introducing a TV service for the PSP, which is kind of cool.
What, a streaming TV
work?
service?
They're like an add-on that makes it a TV receiver.
Oh,
and
okay.
Apparently...
A bit like what Lick-Sang used to do with the old... They used to do that with...
Yeah, but it was a much lower level of technology. Like, this is like...
Is it
Wi-Fi
Sony?
Yeah, no, it's an actual thing. It's an actual Sony product, and it will, like, streams using wireless internet intertube type connections. Because the connection speeds in Japan are just ridiculous, you know. Every phone has 100,000 trillion gigabit connection.
A bit like Australia.
Much like Australia in no respect.
You know, Australia's telecom networks are actually quite advanced compared to the States.
I thought
Yeah,
that
compared to the States, but Japan's as far ahead of us again.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Wasn't there a ranking that Australia was ranked second last recently in all developed countries?
For what? That's for
broadband.
broadband. That's for
Yeah.
broadband.
Not for
yeah, we're talking
mobile
about
phones
phone.
and communications.
Yeah, Australia's
and
very low. I think it's China. Sorry, not China. Japan, South Korea. That ridiculous levels of broadband there. And then America, just because of the economy of scale. And, then it just sort of goes down. And I think it's like Nigeria, Australia, Senegal, or something like that.
And, some team that would beat us in the soccer.
Yeah.
At this moment.
Which is every other country in the world, it seems. But,
yeah, if the countries around you in a particular area, like if the countries above you and below you in a list are best known for genocide, then you're probably... You're probably not good at that.
No, you need to work on it a little bit.
You need to look around.
Unless it is genocide, in which
case... Unless you're going for the genocide record.
In which case, good work.
Yeah, good work. Keep it up. You're up there. You're a market leader.
Speaking about killing... Boy kills his brother. I like the little segues to lead into the...
your segues are very bad, though.
Run with it.
Speaking of genocide,
as a special guest here, or as a witness here, I'd just like to add that's it's not rehearsed. These little segues aren't rehearsed.
No, hey, that's right. That's right. They're off the top of my head. It's all here, baby. All right.
If they seem seamless to you,
that's because
totally unrehearsed.
I'm trying to suck up the yard for
sheer
earlier.
talent.
Damn straight. Yes.
Yeah, in the US.
I actually don't know many of the specific details about this, so tell me.
Well, what actually happened was that a boy in the United States, and I can't remember which state. I think it was Pennsylvania.
I was going to ask that.
I don't actually have his name.
How old was he?
He was 13.
What shoe size?
Sorry. Okay, go on.
He stabbed his brother with a steak knife over an argument over a video game, and this has been widely reported as a video game murder. Like he was playing Grand Theft Auto and went, "Hey, I'm going to shoot my brother in the face," which is just not.
I almost think that these kind of news reports. There's so many of them constantly. Anything that is any kid that plays a computer game that does anything violent, it's video games do this. Do you think in the mainstream media and stuff they're actually starting to go? Heard it,
Well, I've actually found that the reporting of this one quite interesting because they've said they basically quoted the police officer who went there in the first place, and he just flat out said, "We don't believe that the game was a factor in any way." It took a little while when I posted this on Australian Gamer. It wasn't known what the game was, which I thought was pretty important. But
what was
table tennis?
I was just about to ask what the game was, and I wasn't paying attention for the last few.
Right, it's a sports game. That's
I just think that would be funny
so
if it was table tennis, and then Rockstar gets sued for table.
Yeah, for table tennis.
They're like, damn it, we can't release anything.
But apparently the argument was over whose game it is. Apparently, if you lose, they had a rule in the house that if you lose the match, you lose the controller.
You know what? Maybe we should have that rule sort of thing. If you lose the match, you get stabbed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you lose the match, I can stab you.
We have done a comic before where you did stab me in the eye for no reason at all. So, do you know that one, Shush?
Did you pull out a shotgun?
No.
You're
so not with it.
No.
God, Shush.
There was one, yes.
Shush?
There
was a shotgun one, yes, there was.
It wasn't the same?
No, it was not.
Yeah, why do you have a shotgun?
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Yeah, but the other thing that I find interesting about the way it's been reported, they said the cop basically said in no way are video games a factor here, really. That's pretty much what he said outright. They could have been arguing about, whose turn it was to wash up. It was just happened to be that issue.
Maybe now, since Jack Thompson is crazy, there's just really no one for the media to turn to go someone, to sort of cheer for the video games cause this.
Did Jacko comment on
He
this?
hasn't yet commented.
He's
I'm
crazy.
sure he will.
Wasn't he?
I'm not sure what's happened with that. No, I've actually been keeping a close tabs on Game Politics because they cover Jack.
Do you know about this?
Yeah, I think last time I was up here, you guys were having this discussion in real life. Unless I read it on your website.
No. This way, in real life. What are we in right now?
There's a blur between reality and your website in my mind.
Okay. We're on World of Warcraft. No, there's a I can't remember where I was going with that. What was I talking about?
No,
Jack Thompson.
You got distracted by World of Warcraft, as per usual.
Psycho.
This was since then. Because we knew he was a psycho, but he's actually been put up by the Florida Bar Association for psychiatric testing now, which is, I think, hilarious. So he's actually officially a psycho now. It's not just us.
That's true. But let's not talk about Jack Thompson in the podcast.
Yes, because we've done that before. But yeah, the thing that I find interesting is if video games are not a factor, then why are they reporting it as a video game murder in every website around the intertubes? I find that really interesting. And the other thing is the boy is apparently being charged with... he's being charged as an adult for first-degree murder.
How old is he?
He's 13 years old.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm pro-stabbing your brother, but
the youth of today, they're very mature.
But isn't the point of being...
Maybe he had big feet.
Yeah.
Maybe he had, pubes or something. Maybe they checked.
I'm getting thrown off Yug's balcony tonight.
No, not for that comment. That's...
But yeah,
that's tame.
Don't you just find it strange that a child can be tried as an adult like that? He's not an adult. Isn't that the point of being an adult, is to get tried as an adult when you are an adult? And also, isn't first-degree murder premeditated murder?
Well, maybe he thought about it.
Did he plan the whole thing?
The whole time it's I hope he loses this game because I'm
going
to
stab
stab
him with this knife. That just...
I don't know. Are you sure you've got your facts right?
Yeah, well, I've got my facts right from what I read on another site.
From what I read, that's the disclaimer there.
Yep. Hey, fair enough. Hey, that's where all the news from Australian gaming
blame
that is where everything comes from.
The internet told me. It must be true.
All right, well, look, we've probably got to start to wrap things up here.
Can we wrap it R.A.P.
I refuse to rap.
Go for it, Matt. Start it off.
No, thanks. I'm fine. I think no one wants to hear me.
At all. No, just stop it right there.
What? Oh, no one wants to hear me. No, I'm with you.
Actually, there is one little tidbit of news. I don't know how interesting or relevant it is to anyone, but
I had one too.
Sega are opening up a local office here in Australia.
Yes, I did hear that.
Which I think is interesting and cool. Just because any time that a major publisher has a presence here in Australia, like for example Capcom don't here in Australia. Activision distribute all the games for Capcom and stuff like that. But when the publisher does have a presence here in Australia, you'll find that the support for their games and it's a lot stronger.
Yeah. Whereas if some third parties sort of handling their stuff, they just kind of bung them in a box.
You tend to find if the actual publisher is here, the game will generally arrive on time.
Yeah, it's a plus.
Is a big thing. So
where's the office?
In Sydney.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I had something I wanted to talk about, and mostly I wanted to.
God.
Can I go home, guys?
I wanted to put this.
No.
Are you done?
Stay a while.
Excuse me, kiddies.
Stay forever.
I was thinking about the fact that we were talking about E3 last week on the podcast, and we were posting about it and stuff. And at the same time, I bought Hyper, and there was no E3 news in Hyper because it came out as E3 finished.
Yep.
And I was reading something a couple of days later that was talking about the dropping of advertising and stuff in print magazines. Apparently, print magazines are having a lot of trouble keeping their
mainly because their readerships drop. There's
actually
a lot
their
of Australian
readerships are dropping. So
magazines that are.
This is my question.
Yes.
Are print magazines relevant anymore? Do you think there's a place for print?
Yes, absolutely. Because I got nothing else to read in the bathroom.
So it's a poo thing. That's it. It's only for we.
I thought
I
used to get the Xbox, the official Xbox magazines. Stopped getting them for two reasons. One, I used to get them because of the demos that came on the disc.
And now you download them. I'm exactly the same.
Same with the PC
the other
magazines.
point, I actually subscribed, And whoever was doing the subscriptions, they never offered me to renew. I never got that letter to say, would you like to continue your subscription? So I was just too lazy. So that was a side thing. But and I found that Xbox Magazine copied all their stuff from the UK Xbox Magazine anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty common, yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah, so-
like, it's... Yeah, I think Hyper is the only multi-platform Australian...
No, there's two. There's Game as well now.
Is there a new one? Is there?
Yeah, well, no, it's not that new. It's been out for quite a few months.
Okay.
But like 6-7 months.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, no, there are a few. There might even be one other
I
that
don't
I'm
think
forgetting
they'll
as
ever
well.
be irrelevant. I just don't think they're going to be quite as prominent, and there's going to be so many of them as there have been in the past.
I would have just thought that with the way the internet is now set up in terms of news, like we can post something in 20 minutes with just no factual information whatsoever, but we can have a link to factual information and we can embed a video.
Yeah, but
and
you know what? On the flip side, the gaming industry has increased heaps. Like
if the gaming industry has increased heaps and
in the amount of
readerships
people-
have dropped,
That's
the
a
amount
good
of
point.
people-
that says something.
I thought that was the point Yug was making, but now that he's got this really confused look on his face,
It's like,
I
but
know.
the numbers.
You actually
there's
said that's
more
the
of
point, and Matt's
the
like,
numbers.
no, you're wrong.
What?
I don't know. I'm confused.
What was
I've
your
confused
argument?
myself.
What was your argument
I don't
gonna be?
know.
I was saying the industry is growing. Where were you going with that?
I thought your point was, and maybe I'm saving here, I thought your point was, well, look, even though the readerships have, dropped down a little bit, gamers have gone up, so that reflects poorly on the whole magazines even more.
Yeah, but no, I think he was.
I'll go with that.
But
No, I'm going with that.
I knew him
That
well
is
enough to
exactly
know
what
he was
I meant.
actually going with the opposite. He's going, yeah, but the industry's growing. Yeah,
I'm
but the
simply saying
industry's
that the
growing.
amount of people that are playing games is always growing.
Yeah,
So
but they're not
I-
buying magazines.
I'm trying to say that I think there always will be magazines because there is always
Yeah.
going to be an audience there. And frankly, you buy Hyper and I steal your Hyper. So, like, we still
I think-
buy and read
I think
Hyper.
there's
So
one-
who buys the toilet paper in this relationship?
Whatever.
Neither. Oh, that was a bit of an awkward pause, wasn't it?
And the whatever.
I buy magazines for one reason, and that's because even though the industry well, not so much the industry itself, but even though the readership seems to be more interested in websites, the industry itself seems to be so focused on magazines, like press, real press, get so much more support from the publishers and the distributors and
I mean, I
developers
steal
than us losers.
magazines mainly because I need something to read in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I do take a while on there sometimes.
Yeah,
Seriously.
sometimes.
I bring a DS.
I'm looking forward to Golden
Like-
Sun on the DS, I have to say. There's a new Golden Sun game coming.
big
That
time.
makes
So,
me happy.
we need to wrap this up because we've gone on for way too long. Shush, is there anything else you'd like to add
No,
to the end?
I'm shutting up. I'm shutting up.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no,
Thank
no.
you very much.
You are
no,
Mr.
seriously.
Shoosh. See, because you're shushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny. It
No,
wasn't-
I know.
About
It
as
wasn't.
funny as half of my comments. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the whole entire podcast.
But yeah, no, thank you very much for joining us.
No,
for-
thank you guys,
for
and I look
tonight's
forward to
podcast.
having a few drinks tonight.
A few, excellent. Yep, we'll see what we can do. And yeah, that's all we got.
I wanted to say, Shush, I love you.
Yeah, we're stopping the podcast. That's kind of creepy, actually, Matt.
I know.
Nothing for the press.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.
I love you too.
Bye.
Not you. Other people.